and happy Monday. Welcome to BeLocal Southwest Collin County podcast. Today, I am here with Tracy Dickey. Tracy is the founder of Empty Hand Open Heart and owner of East Plano Martial Arts Karate. I say karate, but you do in Shinryu. Yeah, oh, never mind. She is a 5th degree black belt. She is the 2006 world champion at Ishinru, named Female Karate Kai of the Year in 2015. And most importantly, I believe, is a 2-time recipient of the Harold Meacham Humanitarian Award for her work with Empty Hand Open Heart. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So before we get deep into this, we've been doing this series on 501c3s in the Plano, Southwest Collin County area.
Yeah.
My goal is just to learn a little bit more about you, how you came to be, not you, but Empty Hand Open Heart, and a little bit about how we can help and who you serve. So to start things off, let's see. Before we dive all the way in, tell us a little bit about East Plano Martial Arts first, and maybe how that all started.
Yeah, so I started training many years ago. I started teaching as a brown belt, so that's usually unusual, but it took me about 6 years to get my black belt and training many days a week. And then my passion has always been to teach, so I really enjoy the teaching aspect of that. We do little kids from 5 years old, and then we have a 70-year-old that joins as well. So we always just open it to everybody and everybody's level, and adjust the classes to kids who have ADHD or autism, and we just work around everyone because that's our passion, is to just make it for everyone.
Nice. You mentioned that you started training. I think you've been doing this for over 20 years, training for over 20 years,
Yes.
right? Can you tell me about what prompted you to start or your interest in martial arts? And
well, I started with one of my sons, kind of as a family thing, and we do have a lot of families as well, but I'm the only one training in the family now. But I started as a white belt to become a black belt. That was my goal from the very beginning. I wanted to be able to pay it forward, so the self-defense aspect of that was the most important to me. Ishinru is very self-defense derived, so that was the most important for me, because I wanted to be able to give back with all of.
And so you started giving back. Did Empty Hand Open Heart come first, or did East Plano Martial Arts come first?
Well, I'd been training in karate, and then we changed the name to East Plano Martial Arts just last fall. So I still was Ishinru, but. Yes, karate started first because my goal was to always give back and to help those that had been injured with, a rape and abuse and things. So I started going into shelters about 12 years ago. And then Empty Hand Open Heart, we didn't start that until a little over 2 years ago. Because we had decided to make it an official 501c to grow and to be able to help more individuals. Because it was just me going into as many shelters as I can do in a day.
So well before East Plano Martial Arts or Empty Hand Open Heart was a 501c3 organization, you had already been going into the shelters.
Yes,
training
but not
women
as a 501c, just as an individual that just called shelters and said, "Hey, can I come in and teach self-defense?" And with your with your victims or your clients. Started with Hope Store. In the beginning, and then quickly moved into Emily's Place because they're fairly close to each other and in Plano. And then Hope Store merged with New Beginnings that was in Garland because they were separate. And so then now I go into both of those shelters. And then about 6 years ago, I started going into also shelters that support ladies that have been trafficked.
That seems like a tough situation to put yourself in
voluntarily. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of girls that are very talkative about what they happened to them, and some that are very quiet. But I just let them tell me what they want to tell me, and that's really not while I'm there.
Yeah. Was there a moment or a story or something that you remember where you realized that this needed its own kind of mission that to create Empty Hand Open Heart? Like, was there something that happened where you're just like, oh my gosh, like there's a real need here that I have to fill? Like, how did that start?
It's mostly my accountant. He told me I needed to turn into a 501c. But then as we started going, the need has, once we made it into a 501c and I built a board around me to help with everything, we started creating like, oh, there's needs everywhere just of a rape victim. And we worked with a group of, there was like, I think 50 girls that was a group that we went in and worked with them. They met regularly and we did a huge self-defense. I brought in a lot of my students from East Plano Martial Arts. A lot of my students are volunteers for Empty Hand Open Heart.
Okay. Now, what did the early days look like for Empty Hand Open Heart? I mean, after when you first started, now I've got a 501c3. Is this very structured and organized? You go in once a month, or like, what does a class look like? Just kind of walk me through.
Oh, a class for Empty Hand Open Heart.
Yeah. Like, what do you guys do?
Well, there's really no structured class. Everything is booked by appointment. Okay. So I go. There's some shelters I go to weekly. There's shelters I go to monthly. There's shelters that I do quarterly classes with. I work through the local goods center, and they provide childcare for us while we do some of the classes for Emily's Place. And so some of them are just a one-time deal, and then they can come back to me as they figure things out more.
And what are you guys doing in most of the classes? Are you hitting each other? Are you learning? Like, what does this look like? I'm not allowed, I don't think, in these classes. So
so when we're working with victims, it's very different than a martial arts class.
Yeah.
When we're working with victims, it's when I walk into a class, like trafficking shelter, for instance, I go there weekly, and I get very close to those girls. Some girls I've known for 3 or 4 years now that I still keep in touch with, that have graduated their program at Treasured Vessels. And we have a conversation. Usually the first thing is, where they are as far as touch, because that's very important. What are things that trigger them the most? A trigger would be in what they would, a memory that comes back when you touch their neck or something, which is most of the girls do not want their neck touched. So in a traditional karate class, we might grab their neck because we practice getting away from something like that. But we might just hold on to their shoulders with the girls that have been abused, because that's a little safer for them. There's one girl that it was fine with her neck, and it was her wrist because she had been bound with her wrist. And it took me 2 years working with her to be able to touch her wrist.
Wow. Are there any other stories like that where you feel you've seen like a transformation out of meeting with these girls consistently and helping them through their traumas?
So a lot of the times the girls, the first thing they say is, don't even try to hug me. It's usually within an hour they are hugging me.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just, they're very standoffish, and it's trying to get a nice relationship with them, to get them closer. To feel comfortable, because they're not comfortable with a hug. So trying new things and putting themselves in an uncomfortable situation to be able to hug me, and they just feel very comfortable. We do this in a very, very loving way, and once they start getting to know us, it's just so different than a regular self-defense class.
Wow. Okay. I was reading some statistics, and I feel like a lot of people don't see the domestic violence. It's just not something that's very visible in the community, right? I think a lot of people are suffering silently. I was reading a statistic that
very silently,
that over University of Texas says that over 313,000 people in the state of Texas are experiencing or victims of domestic violence, with 79, almost 80,000 of those being minors. Is there anything that you hope that, like, the people that haven't experienced domestic violence and that's not a part of their story should know about the situation these people are in, or how, Well,
a lot of the situation that they're in it's not really where we help, but we just try to help build their confidence to be able to go back out into the world by giving them some tools. But a lot of it is financial. That's why they get stuck in the situation there is. So, I mean, gosh, we need more shelters. I know there's just not enough. There's so many ladies are always full. I try to mentally keep a track, and I help people navigate where there's beds and things like that. When I go into the shelters, I do work with the Plano Police Department on that, and work with the crime prevention unit and the victims advocate, and we all try to network together. We all try to network, all of us that worked with these victims, because they don't report it, and a lot of it's financial. So there's resources that I've come up with, like how to get free diapers and childcare, and it's the different resources that I've acquired over the years working with people. But yeah, a lot of the ladies, hair pulling is hard for them.
Okay.
And so there was a series when I was going into Hope Store, where all the ladies had their heads shaved because they were tired of their hair being pulled.
Wow. Okay, that's new. I hadn't even thought of that. What's the hardest part about this work? What keeps you going, and what's the hardest part you find?
Well, for me, I always have to pray before I go into a shelter. It's kind of how I settle in, because I just want to make sure that I bring in the correct words of wisdom, that I don't hurt anybody's feelings, and that I'm not there to judge them for sure. I never judge, because a lot of these ladies have, they've had a rough life.
Mm-hmm.
And I never want to go in not judging them, being kind. That is just so important as growing up. I just remember every person that was kind to me, that went the extra step and did something, and I want to be that person, to be that kind, sometimes to just listen to, give them a resource, let them know that people are there for them.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned off air, North Texas Giving Day is coming up.
Yeah.
You partner with some of my friends to do some of the campaign for that. I know that's a big part of the way you raise funds. You want to talk a little bit about North Texas Giving Day and
Yeah, so North Texas Giving Day was big. We ended up doing very well last year, a lot more than we expected. It was our first year being involved. We're hoping we have a facility when we have a rape victim, or when I bring victims that are not in shelters to the facility. We have expenses to keep that running. Everyone in our organization, besides if we do a social media run or our website person, everybody's a volunteer. So our funds are not going for volunteers or for money for my board or anything like that. Everybody on the board is a volunteer. All of my people that work with victims are volunteers. Things that we are kind of looking to get for this North Texas Giving Day is some portable mats that we can take to shelters, because a lot of the time we work on ground techniques. If someone's sitting on you and when they're comfortable, because that is a very uncomfortable thing, but having something on the floor, because when we go into a shelter, they don't have like a gym. So it's just like you're in a kitchen or a hallway, or it's just kind of crazy, the places we do self-defense in some of these shelters. But having a soft something to lay on for them would be really nice. So I think that's what we're looking for, some travel mats.
Okay.
Some of them we do karate for, or I offer free karate classes for. So providing uniforms for those families, karate uniforms for them.
Okay.
We'll provide them with scholarships and stuff, because I do offer all of the victims to come to my studio for free as well and do classes, karate classes with East Plano Martial Arts. And so we have to provide them with uniforms and all those expenses as well.
Okay. If I'm just a Southwest Collin County resident wanting to get involved, are you looking for instructors and volunteers? Is it best to donate diapers, give you money? Like, what's the best way to do it? And where can I go to find how to connect with you?
Yeah, so honestly, funds is probably the easiest thing to do. Or I do take a lot of the girls out if it works, to get ones that are in a trafficking shelter, to get pedicures or something on a special day, or to lunch, or just go get coffee. So those funds are good, or maybe gift cards to those types of things. We mostly use, for volunteers, we mostly use martial artists. So if you, especially females, if you are a female martial artist, we would love to have you come join us and work with us.
I'm sure you're not trying to be sexist. It's just that you're
The
working
girls
with
are more comfortable.
much
Yeah.
more comfortable
So
with females.
we ended up working with some kids from the Jim Riley house.
Okay.
And they're so we did have some males, and I did have a male come in, but we'd work with them. So that's kids that have graduated the foster care system who are being helped through the Jim Riley project.
Okay.
And so they came in to do a class. So we are dabbling with helping foster care kids as well.
Okay.
I have another class with one next week. So
You just mentioned Jim Riley. You've mentioned Hope Store. Are there any other partners you want to shout out and just
Treasured Vessels.
Okay.
I work with them. Emily's Place, New Beginnings, Plano Police Department. We collaborate a lot on different events. Local Goods Center that is affiliated with Chase Oaks. I do a lot of things through them, and they offer a lot of things for the community in East Plano. Job readiness and things like that.
Okay, very cool. Is there a partner that you're hoping to connect with and you'd like to partner with, that if they were listening to this and you'd be like, hey, HEB, I need 5,000 diapers or something?
Sure. Well, yeah, diapers isn't my thing. I send them to another. But yeah,
Okay.
any of the other big things, we've been trying to get in with the Walmarts and do that. And I know they do some scholarships and stuff like that. We would like to grow nationally because we looked up other organizations that might do what we do, and we have not found one as of right now, that there's anybody else that goes into shelters and talks about self-defense, home safety, setting up a safe home when they do leave the shelter. And so we would love others to, around the world, if you're especially a female martial artist and want to get started on figuring out how to do that. We wouldn't charge you a franchise fee. We'd love for you to use our name so it can grow and be recognizable. But we could teach you how to set up and get started, and kind of not have the growing pains that we did, that we've learned. We set out with working with just ladies a victim of domestic violence, but then it evolved into working with ladies that are trafficking, and now maybe kids that are in the foster care system as well.
That's great. There's kind of been this evolution to Empty Hand, Open Heart as you uncover more need, right?
Yeah, and even someone that's just been raped, and we do them individually, and they bring in a friend. And
wow. Okay. Well, is there a website that I can go to?
Yeah, so emptyhandopenheart.org. And on that website,
say that one more time for me.
emptyhandopenheart.org.
Okay.
There's a donation page, so you can donate through credit card, PayPal. You can send a check to our PO box. I think those are the three things.
Okay.
That
And
try to cover everything.
And East Plano Martial Arts is located east side of Plano, off of Avenue K, right? And what's the cross streets?
Capitol. It's on Capitol and Avenue N, just south of downtown. And so it's kind of a quiet area, but it's great. It's not great to advertise a martial arts school, but it's great when you're wanting a quiet area to have victims come and feel safe.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. All right, well, Tracy, is there anything else you'd like to add before we break for today?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. You have a
thank you
huge
for
heart.
having me.
I've gotten to know you through the Plano Chamber, but just seeing all the work you do in the community is just inspiring. And I just want to say thank you for being you. And
You're very welcome.
and thank you for sticking around for this.